Hi everyone, welcome back to the Speak Up Erika podcast. And in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing you things that I learned during my quarantine. But before we get started, I would love to share my partnership with the Mindset Therapy team. And what is Mindset Therapy? Well, Mindset Therapy is an Instagram started by my friend Vegas, and his social media page has grown tremendously for over the past 2 years, but pretty much it shares daily content of inspiration and positivity and helping you change your mindset for the better. Recently, Mindset Therapy has launched the Mindset Mastery program, and this program shows you ways that you can overcome the challenges that you're facing. It has really informative, easy to read, very comprehensive and in-depth content, and they have multiple worksheets and PDFs that are editable on your phone and computer. And it's only the cost of a lunch meal for 1 month's access. So I highly recommend that you sign up. I've had the pleasure of being able to access the program before launch, and the link is in the podcast notes, or you can catch it in the bio on my Instagram page at Speak Up Erika. I think it's really awesome that the Mindset Therapy team is able to launch this program because I myself struggle with not being in the right mind space. And going through this program pre-launch, I realized the things that I really need to work on in myself. And it's kind of funny because it goes in hand with the lessons that I learned in quarantine. So I guess before I go into the 5 lessons that I kind of learned, I'm going to share what my quarantine was like beforehand. So before all of this happened, I was working a lot. I usually work 2 jobs. Sometimes I work 3 jobs and doing a lot of like side projects. I was always going outside. I was never home. I was always eating out, traveling, and yeah, just never took the time to really slow down. So slowing down is one of the first lessons that I learned when this whole thing hit, and we weren't allowed to leave outside the house, of course. That was the first time that I was actually able to slow down, and I didn't work for once. I don't think there has been a time that I never worked for that long. I've always had a job and I've always been doing something since I was 16 years old and I got my first job. So that was the first time I really got to take a break. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm sure some people can relate to this, but I just felt really lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know how I would make money, how I'm going to pay my bills. I did have quite a bit of savings, but in terms of like how long will this last, when will I be able to earn an income, and like slowing down really helps you really reflect on your pathway, I guess. Like, what is it that I'm really doing? What are my goals? Do I like my job? I was reflective on my purpose, or reflective on my job, my finances, my relationships, and yeah, we had so much time on our hands, and we lost our routine, didn't really know what, everything was so uncertain, and our health was potentially on the line if we went outside. So I guess I'm just gonna go into the next thing that I learned was that everyone is going through it. And like, even despite all of this happening beforehand, everyone was going through it as well. Like, everyone has their own share of things that are going on in their family, their relationships, things going on personally in their mental space. So you may be going through it as well, but just know that you're not alone. One of the first people that you don't realize that is also going through it is your family or your parents. I think trying to be kinder to your parents and your elders is something to take into consideration, because I guess, well, some people, depends on the relationship you have with your family, but some people can take their relationship with their parents for granted or their elders for granted because you're so, like, you just grew up knowing that they're an adult, and then you grew up being an adult and realize that they they're just a person as well. They go through their mental stuff, and I think I saw this through some of my parents, and my family, and my titos and titas. This quarantine has helped me build more compassion to people that I didn't spend time with before quarantine, because now I was forced to be at home and be with my family and have to hang out with them. And then the third would be focusing on things that matter. So the first month of quarantine, take a shot on how many times I say quarantine in this episode. Yeah, so 3 is focusing on things that matter. And in the first month of quarantine, I got really depressed. I guess it wouldn't, I don't know if it's not really like a diagnosed depression or anything, but I got really depressed. I was in bed for a month, didn't really like move that much or talk to people or interact, I guess. Like, I just stayed in bed and passed time with Netflix and just did that. And then the second month, I got out of bed. Got out of bed and I started cooking and learning how to cook more, and learning how to cook different things. And I started baking for the first time. I never bake. I started learning more about like foot care. Going back to the things that matter, I started reevaluating my job, and I realized that the jobs that I was doing didn't make me happy, didn't make me feel fulfilled. I was reflecting back again on my goals, and seeing, am I on the right pathway to reaching them? Am I doing what I really want to do? I think a realization is that we are short on time. Yeah, I just tried to focus on like, well, what do I want to do for myself? I focused on trying to better my health, eating more vitamins, kind of trying to exercise around the house, and eating home and eating healthier foods. Really taking the time to sanitize everything. I think I did beforehand, but now it was just like very hyper aware of what I was doing. And spending time with friends and family, and giving that time was really important, because I was never able to do that before. And now that that time was taken away, we were trying to find creative ways to spend time with family and friends, right? So I feel like a lot of people are doing this, but we had like Zoom birthday parties. I had a Zoom birthday party for my friend Keisha. We played games online with our friends instead of seeing them in person, and it's because that is what really matters. Like, money doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, like, sure, it buys you all the things that you need and like necessities and everything, but what really matters is like the people that you really love and care for. Man, this podcast episode is super cheesy. But I'm just being real with y'all, because like this was just something that really opened up my eyes in quarantine, and we just get so busy that we lose focus of that, right? So yeah, I'm going to move on from this topic and go to the next one. The fourth one was planning ahead, and this goes into planning ahead for finances. A lot of people were definitely hit, lost their jobs, lost their businesses, don't have savings, only rely on their credit card, and people's finances are out of whack. And I did have a previous episode of my finances and how I paid off my credit card debt, and I was very privileged and thankful to be in the place at the beginning of the quarantine where I was kind of debt free. Aside from my OSAP, I was pretty much debt free, and I had enough savings, and I didn't have to worry as much as other people who have families, have people to take care of, have to pay their rent, maybe have to pay their car, maybe didn't have access to CERB or government funding. So planning ahead was something that I took more into consideration. Like, I did plan ahead beforehand, but continuing to do that in the future was something that I really wanted to make sure that I was going to do. And then lastly, was something that I learned was taking back control. So I think a lot of people got really scared because they lost sense of their routine, and that made them lose sense of who they are, and they just felt like they lost control over so many different aspects of their life. So learning how to take back control was a great thing. Took back control by taking care of the space that I was in. I have never spent so much time in my bedroom. Holy crap. Of course, we were forced to, but I feel like I transformed and rearranged my bedroom to a space where I felt like I wanted to be in. And for so long, like before all of this happened, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to have my own space and feel like it's me, get out of here, have my own personal like space, right? And I still want that, of course. I can't wait to reach that goal and have my own place and feel like something is mine. I can feel responsible for owning something and just have that sense of freedom, right? But taking care of my space allowed me to take back control of like mental space at the same time. I saw in my room like want to be in a place that I wanted to be in. I looked more into sleeping and getting like things for a better sleep so I can be a more productive person for the next day. So looked more into my sleeping care and my sleeping habits and dug deeper through there. And then, like I said before, I cooked more and baked more, as I think a lot of people did during quarantine. So I did a lot of that, and I used to hate baking. Like, I don't know why, I just hated it, and I I learned how to learning how to do it. I was like, oh, okay, it's actually not that bad. I would have before I would always prefer to cook rather than bake, but it actually wasn't that bad. Learning and like really appreciating what you're creating and being able to eat it after was really awesome. And I was able to share it. Going back to things that matter, spending time with friends. I know that that was limited, and I still wanted to show that I care for my friends and I was there for them. Made my friends, I made my friends care packages, just like reaching out, saying, "Hey, how are you doing? Hope everything's good. Hope you're safe and well." You know, just taking that little time out of my day just to like say, "Hey, what's up? I hope you're good." One of the last kind of little points under taking back control is taking back control of my mental health. This was a really transformative thing in my mindset. For half the year, I was just really depressed about my job. I guess that's the best way to kind of put it. And then one of my colleagues invited me to do this marketing and events data thing. So we were collecting data and going to online events and figuring out all this, like how many conversions we can get and blah 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 and stuff. So, anyways, finding my passion again in the field of marketing and events really helped me pull the trigger on starting projects and doing things that I really enjoy and I really like want to do in my future. And that's kind of what transformed my mental health and made me shift my mindset, and also what helped kickstart this podcast. This podcast is a baby from quarantine. So is my online festival called Locals Festival, and it's about showcasing locals in the area while giving back to the community. And I think that this was something so important because all locals were definitely hit so hard. In comparison, obviously corporations can last, but locals were hit so hard, some of them weren't able to come back after all of this happened, and we're slowly transitioning to different phases. And that's so heartbreaking. And the community just really needed us. Nonprofits needed us. No one was able to volunteer, and people couldn't donate as much because of the lack of finances that they had. But I guess, like, to sum it up, the things that I learned in quarantine, that learning how to slow down, learning that everyone's going through it, even your parents, focusing on things that really matter to you, planning ahead for the future, your finances, and your goals, your career and your job, I guess. And then taking back control and finding out ways to really elevate your space and your mental space. Those are kind of my little lessons. I hope that you are able to relate to some of them, and let me know what you learned during your quarantine, if there is anything different. I would love to know. And thank you again to the Mindset Therapy team for partnering with me. And feel free to check out the link in the description to see how you can sign up to take advantage of the new mastery program that they have. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care of yourself. Be well, be safe, and catch you in the next episode.